Atlanta and an eventful week in NASCAR. Here we are again. We're looking at Joey Logano passing for the win, winning it over Brad Keselowski. How about that? My name is Dan. This is my son, Nick. I'm at home. He's away at college. This is how we enjoy the NASCAR season together. What'd you think about that race, Nick?
I mean, good for Logano, but I was really on the Brad Keselowski train from the beginning of the race. I was like, oh, he's good. I knew he'd been good this season, but this race I was like, oh, he's really good. And then it started to fall into place. And then by the end, he's in first place. I'm like, okay, Brad, please stay up front. It was kind of a war between him and then Logano and his guys. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, Logano got the pass and won the race. Brad gets second still, but
Yeah.
what could have been, getting an early win in the season for Brad. That would have been huge.
Well, this was the comeback of the Fords. The Fords
Mhm.
were the best cars. Those Penske cars were up front the entire race,
Mhm.
um, and they were tough. In the end, I think Joey probably had the best car. He
Probably.
was able to make that pass, so he earned it. But Brad Keselowski, he's good.
Yeah, he's good. I really hope he can pull one out because he was in the spot to win it. So I wouldn't put it too far that this could happen again. It's just I was really hoping that he'd just steal it right now.
So, Nick, you had Ryan Blaney to win this race, and he was there. He was there the whole time.
Mhm.
So, good pick by you. I had Ross Chastain, who didn't quite have the car in this race. Really, none of the Chevrolets did exactly. Our consensus top three guy was a good car, Kyle Larson, who was wrecked and finished way down in the field. Nick, you had as a sleeper Tyler Reddick, and he was right there.
Mhm.
He had a good
Uh,
race.
Fifth place for Reddick. Yeah, I knew he'd be decent on this one as long as he didn't wreck and he stayed safe and got a good finish. So I'm happy with that.
And I think we're going to continue to see more from him.
Yeah.
I had Daniel Suarez as a sleeper, and I think it was warranted. He was very good in this race, but he got caught up in one of those wrecks.
I thought it was interesting that both Larson and Byron, two of like our top power ranked guys, two of the guys that were the most favored, both wrecked in this race. I just thought that was an interesting thing.
Also interesting how the two big wrecks that happened in this race happened because the leader spun. First, it
Hmm.
was Harvick, who was he had Chastain right on his tail. I think the replay shows that he wasn't actually touched, but he got loose. He spun out, took some of the field with him. And then not too much longer after that, Almirola was in the lead and he had another tire go kaboom. And then that was the end of his day. He took some cars with him. Bad luck for Almirola, I feel like, these past couple weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I know he's better than this, and it's just been some tough breaks. And with the spinning out, I think that's just the track. I think you just have to accept that. I guess there's a risk to riding up front like that and having someone ride on your tail. You just get spun.
And then something that I did not notice on the last lap of the race, but it was really cool to see after the fact. Eric Jones passed 7 cars on the last lap. Did you see this, the replay of that?
I didn't see it until after the fact, just like you. Yeah, no, it was crazy. And this was like last week how we missed the Hamlin Chastain wreck on the last lap too, just because the cameras aren't on really what's going on further back. But impressive for Jones passing all those guys.
It looks kind of like, at the end of a video game when you're just going
Yeah.
all out and you just happen to make it. That's kind of what it looked like to me. But I hope this is a momentum builder for Eric Jones. He really wasn't good in the race until the last lap.
Yeah, no, I hope it gives him some kind of confidence because with that little spurt at the end, he broke the top 10. He finished eighth.
Hmm.
Great for him. Let's see if he can continue it because I like Eric Jones. I know you like him. So
Yeah. Nick, in the Xfinity race, on the day before the Cup race, this was last Saturday. Did you see what happened in this thing?
yeah, I
There was a
didn't see
few
this
things that
live.
happened.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a couple things. I saw a couple wrecks, and I think I saw the incident you're talking about, but this was all after the fact.
I guess the viral sensation from that race was Josh Williams, and he was told that his car needed to be parked, and he was not happy about it. but he parked his car anyway, right?
Yeah, to be fair, they did tell him to park it, which he did.
Under caution, he parked on the start finish line. On the start finish line, got out of the car and walked away to the cheers of the crowd.
Hmm.
His car had been involved in an accident, and so he had the tape on his car, that you often see, they're kind of holding things back together. And then some of that tape was coming off. Williams said that he believed it was not because the tape was improperly put on, but because the temperatures were cold, so the tape was having trouble sticking to anything. So some of that tape was coming off. According to the rule book, NASCAR says, all right, if you've had a damaged vehicle, your tape's coming off, you're putting debris on the track, then your car has to be parked.
Cup Series, you see guys like Harvick, Bell, they'll hit the wall or they'll get messed up, but then they'll get all taped up. I don't think I've ever seen the rule be in effect where they have to park it because their tape's coming off.
Yeah, it's not something that I've noticed
It's
before.
just it's just weird. And a lot of people, I mean, we're saying like, oh, they're picking on Josh Williams because he's a lower driver on a smaller team. It was just a bizarre thing because it's just something I can't remember them ever telling Chase Elliott to park it or something like that. So he was mad. He parks on the start finish line and walks away, and everyone went nuts because it was so funny.
He was suspended for one race, so he'll miss
Mhm.
the next race, Xfinity. So probably an appropriate thing. NASCAR
Yeah,
can't just let it go
yeah,
because then they're going to have everybody trying something like that.
yeah. But the punishment isn't too harsh, and it's a good trade off for the fame that he got from it.
That's right. There will now be a lot more eyes on Josh Williams. And as a result of that, a lot more eyes on Josh Williams sponsors. So good for him. What were some of your major things that happened in your power rankings, Nick?
I didn't have any really huge things going on. For the most part, I kind of just labeled guys as trending up or trending down. And it's something that I'd come back to in like a week to see if they really are going to move. I guess my biggest mover would have to be Brad. I had him at 16th. I moved him up a whole 5 spots to 11th. He was great and he's been great. And I kept him low because I was like, all right, I mean, maybe he's just lucky, but I think he's actually doing really well this season. So I think that deserves a spot on the
Mhm.
edge of 10.
Well, and also I had Brad a little lower than you. I had him at 20th, but about like you, I've moved him up to 16th. So he took a big leap ahead in my rankings too.
Guys near the bottom, I just kind of guys got like Cindric, LaJoy, Eric Jones. They're all kind of trending up. They're all like 17, 19, 20th kind of stuff. I switched Hamlin Bowman, not a big change. I kind of have Bowman trending down. He finally broke his top 10 win streak as
That's
I
right.
figured because it was going to be too messy of a race for him to get lucky.
He
But
was uh he was up there at the end, but
yeah.
he did not have luck on his side this race.
Mhm. So I have him kind of trending down. And then in the 1 through 5, it's all kind of mixed up. Logano, I had him fourth. I moved him up 2, so he's now second, which pushes down Larson and Kyle Busch. I moved Blaney up 1 from 6th to 5th, so Chastain went from 5th to 6th. All kind of shaken up in there, but that's kind of my big changes this week.
And the changes that I had, they kind of go right along with the ones you said. I had Logano and Blaney entering back into my top five, while Chastain and Bush fell out of the top five. Like you, I had Hamlin going up slightly, Bowman going down slightly. I also moved Reddick up a step. And then in my lower half of my top 20, besides Keselowski, there really wasn't much movement at all for me this week. And I think we really do need to mention Corey LaJoy coming
Hmm.
across fourth in this race. And besides last week, he has been top 20 or better in every race. And now he finishes fourth at Atlanta. Now that's a good track for him. He typically does well on those types of tracks. But great job for Corey LaJoy. Let's see if we can keep this going. Maybe a playoff run for Corey LaJoy.
I haven't checked the standings. I know last week he was in the playoffs. I assume with a fourth he might still be in it. But
Yeah.
good job for him. I've been surprised with those top 20 finishes, and then fourth especially. I was like, Corey LaJoy is right here. It's just crazy.
So this week, it's Circuit of the Americas, our first road course of the 2023 Cup season. It should be a good one. We'll have some different names, some ringers coming in for this one.
For sure. I've been excited. I've been waiting for a road course. Circuit of the Americas is my kind of track with 68 laps, but 231 miles, lots of
Mhm.
turns, lots of possible technical stuff. I think it should be a good one. And I think we're going to bring up some names that we don't usually bring up.
One of those names you would definitely expect to hear is AJ Allmendinger.
Mm-hmm.
He had some trouble in the last race at COTA. He was fifth at COTA the year before that, but I think he's always going to be a strong contender when it comes to a road course.
Mm-hmm. Just the veteran guy that his specialty really is these road courses, these technical tracks. I think he's always a possibility for courses like this. And like you said, he had tough luck last time, but if he qualifies top 10, he might ride there the whole race and make a
Mhm.
little run for it at the end.
The winner at COTA last spring was Ross Chastain. The year prior to that at COTA, he was fourth, and that was before kind of his breakout. So Ross Chastain is definitely a car to have an eye on. He hasn't been great the last couple of weeks. Maybe he bounces back and is really strong at COTA.
Yeah, I think the Coda last year was his first cup win. This could be a little rebirth for this season. Because yeah, he hasn't been great, but just watch the speed. He knows how to do this track. It could be a Chastain victory.
You'll be very interested to hear about this. Some skillful finishes. Alex Bowman was second last year at COTA. He was eighth at COTA the year before that, Nick. Hey,
Hey, I mean
some road course skill.
yeah, no, he might be the best of the Hendrick guys out here, especially if there's no Elliott. Hey,
Yes.
maybe Alex Bowman will outperform the group.
And speaking of those Hendrick cars, of course, Chase Elliott will not be in this race. Driving Chase Elliott's car for COTA will be Jordan Taylor. Is that a name I don't know that I've heard before?
No, that's definitely not a name that I've heard before. I had to do some research into who that was.
But he does have road course experience. He's been working for Hendrick Motorsports as a driver coach. So he'll be in that car. Interesting to see how he might do.
I mean, it could be interesting. He's got the good car, just like Josh Berry has been
Mm-hmm.
finishing pretty well for who he is with that good car. If we've got some kind of specialist with Jordan Taylor, maybe top 10, maybe top 5. I don't know about a win, but he might
Yeah.
perform well.
So who else is generally pretty good on the road courses, Nick?
I like guys like Cindric. I've always liked Cindric, and this is kind of he's more geared toward road courses. I think Reddick has done well on road courses for the most part.
Yeah, Reddick was fifth last year at COTA, and he was ninth there the year before. And he generally is pretty good on the road courses. So,
Mhm.
and he's been heating up. So let's watch Reddick, see what he does.
And then one other guy I know you like, Chris Bell. I always think of him when I think of road courses.
Yes. And while he has not won a race yet, he has been the guy, with the exception of his finish at Daytona, he has been the guy who has been up there at the end every week. So
Mm-hmm.
this might be the time for Christopher Bell to luck himself into the playoffs.
Or most names, if they qualify 20th, 20 plus, I'd write him off. But Chris Bell, I think if he has to start from the rear or if he's a bad qualifying, I'd have faith that he would be able to pass the guys and make it to the front.
And Jimmy Johnson will be in this race this weekend, Nick.
That's exciting. I like that he's going to make a couple guest appearances throughout this season, and I think that while he's not like a full-time NASCAR driver, I think that he's always got to be considered a factor just because of how much racing he's done and his resume. I think his name has to be brought up.
And historically, he has been good in the Cup Series on road courses. Then, of course, since he retired officially, then he had been running in the Indy cars, which, of course, is a lot more road courses. So it's potential Jimmy Johnson might make some noise in this race.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Who do you like to win this race?
Well, I mean, I had a couple of top looking guys. Chastain was in my mind for sure. I liked the Bell pick. I liked Reddick up there. I think it's kind of a different kind of crowd. Hendrick, I don't even consider now that Elliott's not in this. I don't consider Byron or Larson being able to beat out all these guys on a road course. I was gonna pick Chastain, but I think I'm gonna pick Tyler Reddick to win this race.
Okay, good pick. I think he'll definitely be up there.
Mm.
Well, for my pick, I'm gonna go back to my number one power ranked guy, who I've already mentioned that is going to be dangerous in this race, and that's Christopher Bell.
I think this is going to be a good one for him to win. I mean, he's had a good shot in all of these, but road course with Bell, watch him qualify on the pole.
Mm-hmm.
He might lead the whole thing.
Well, so then let's talk about our consensus top three driver. There's a few that we could consider.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Chastain, Allmendinger. I'm trying to think of another like obvious.
Larson has one at Sonoma. He has one at Watkins Glen. He has one at the Roval. He has one at the Charlotte Road Course. So
You
even
want to
though
go?
you already dissed the Hendrick drivers in this race, but Larson could be strong. Somebody to
Yeah,
consider.
this is for top three. This is not for the win. I
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to beat everyone out there
Okay.
victory, but I would be fine with the Larson top three.
Okay. Well then I'm gonna go with you on that. We'll pick Larson as our consensus top three driver. And then we need a couple of sleepers.
I'm just going to stick with a guy that I like. I know him. He's been good, some bad, some good. It's first road course. Time to go all out. Austin Cindric.
He could definitely be up there at the end. I'm going to go with a guy who has been on a team that's been trending upward. He's had some bad luck the last couple of races, but he is a good road course driver. Christopher Buescher is my pick for the sleeper this week.
I think it's a solid pick. I wonder if Brad will be a superstar in this race again.
I don't know. It just somehow in my memory, when I think of Brad Keselowski and road courses, I just see him spinning out in the turns.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but prove me wrong, Brad. You've been proving me wrong every race this season so far.
I do like the Chris Buescher pick as well. I think our picks are strong. I think they all could get top 10.
It should be a good one. Change things up a little bit this week. Lots more turns. I believe it'll be a good race. So everybody enjoy watching that. Nick, have a good weekend. I look forward to talking to you more about this.
I'm looking forward to a really good road course race this weekend.